cared for each other, fought for each other, and respected each other, no matter what. What I loved most about soccer was being a teammate to women and a leader of women. As co-captain of the United States women's national soccer team, I was charged with uniting 23 women, each of whom had achieved success because of her individual talent, and inspiring each to commit to the group, the collective. With the help of my teammates, I created a team culture based on more than just excellence. We not only won, we won with joy, honor, connectedness, commitment, and sisterhood. We were not only champions on the field, we were champions of each other. Our time on the U.S. women's national team turned us into more than just winners. We turned each other into better friends, citizens, and human beings. When I retired, I missed my team and the unique connection that is forged among a group of people working toward a common goal. But as I sat and looked at that invitation, I had this thought. What if my time on the national team was just practice for a bigger game? What if I could find a way to translate our team's culture to more people? What if I could inspire a broader team off the field, too? The Barnard women would enter Radio City Music Hall as college students and leave as adults. What if I entered as Abby, a leader on the soccer field, and left as Abby, a leader in the world? I was scared, but I said yes to Barnard anyway. I said yes for those women, but also for myself. The Barnard women weren't the only ones stepping off into an unknown future, reinventing themselves, trying to find their way in the world. I was right there with them. This speech would be a watershed moment for me, too. First, though, I had to actually write the darn thing. There was a moment in every soccer game when I'd feel the energy shift toward me, whether it was a morale boost, a momentum swing, or a goal that we needed. It was my job to make it happen. When I felt that shift, I'd say silently to myself, "Let's go, Abby. It's your time." As I sat down to prepare my speech, that's what I told myself. I needed this rally cry, too. Giving a speech to young people at this moment in our world's history felt sacred and daunting. We were at a crossroads. There were so many confusing messages to sort through. On the one hand, humanity had made enormous progress on big problems. More children were being educated, fewer people were living in extreme poverty, and it seemed, for a while, that growing numbers of people were becoming less tolerant of bigotry. At the same time, grave dangers were on the rise from climate change, rampant racial, religious, and gender discrimination, and a deepening divisiveness among Americans. It felt like a real possibility that the clock would be turned back on so much of the progress we'd made over the last century for equality. I wanted to believe that I could make a difference. I wanted to believe that I could help these graduates believe that they could make a difference. Because I knew then, as I know now, that young people are this world's great hope. But I also knew that this would be a heavy message for those kids to hear. They would know how much I was asking of them. Saving the world is a big challenge to accept. It might have seemed impossible, even. But I don't believe in impossible. Because the lesson of my life has been a group of passionate people who unite for a larger goal can achieve the impossible again and again. As I focused on what I wanted to share with the women of Barnard, a directive to unleash their individuality, unite the collective, and change the world, my thoughts turned to a TED Talk video I'd watched recently about the wolves of Yellowstone National Park. In 1995, wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone after being absent for 70 years. It was a controversial decision, but rangers decided it was a risk worth taking because the land was in trouble. During those 70 years, the number of deer skyrocketed because they were alone and unchallenged at the top of the food chain. They grazed unchecked and reduced the plant life so severely that the riverbanks eroded. Once a small number of wolves arrived, big changes started happening almost immediately. First, they thinned out the deer through hunting, but more important,